Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to go over some of the concept art that was done behind the scenes on Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, and talk about some of the ideas, dinosaurs, and designs that the first couple of seasons of the show were considering all the way back in 2017. So the images that we're going to be going over here come directly from Raf Herrera-Lomaton, who was approached by DreamWorks 3 years ago to do some sketches for the series. These sketches would have included the infant Maiasaur that we went over in a previous video, as well as some very interesting dinosaur hybrids that ultimately went unused. You can see here that, once again, one of the baby dinosaurs that was originally being considered for Camp Cretaceous happened to be the Cryolophosaurus, which eventually wound up as a Mattel toy. This dinosaur underwent a lot of cool designs that put emphasis on proportions and stance, which we could have seen in the animated series, and things like feathers and spiky bumps were also integrated into these older designs. Now, another dinosaur that underwent a similar process to the Cryo happened to be the Allosaurus, which we first saw on screen in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I think it's actually kind of cool that these films had a sort of charted growth cycle for the Allo back in 2017, when both this show would have been in pre-production and Fallen Kingdom would have begun filming. We could have seen a hatchling in Camp Cretaceous, followed by a juvenile specimen in JP5, and later the full-grown adult in Colin Trevorrow's Battle at Big Rock. But ultimately, Allosaurus would go unused, and that's not what we saw at the end of the day. Of course, several color schemes and feather-esque attributes were also considered for the animated series back when it was on the table, and even though none of this stuff got used, it's still really cool to see what could have been with this early production material. But what's probably the most interesting aspect of all of this concept art for the show is the early sketches of these hybrid dinosaurs that we could have seen on Isla Nublar. In the final cut of Jurassic World, we can actually see a few unidentified hybrids on a computer screen in Dr. Wu's lab. I've covered these animals before in the past, and also talked about the famous Stegoceratops, which was originally going to be found by Owen and Claire in an earlier draft of Jurassic World. Now for Camp Cretaceous, some of the hybrids that they were working with here were really interesting to say the least, and designs that they were going for here showcase a lot of bizarre and imaginative looking creations. First up was a dinosaur that was cloned by mixing the DNA of Eutyrannus, Rugops, and a cassowary. Another showcased something made from Dilophosaurus, Carnotaurus, and Nothronicus genes, which is actually one of the Therizinosaur species. Another animal was made from combining Diabloceratops, Styracosaurus, Lambeosaurus, Sauropelta, and Psittacosaur DNA. Yet another would have been from Baryonyx, Deinocheirus, and Concavenator blood. A cross between a Kentrosaur and Ankylosaurus was designed. And then finally, we would have gotten a Pachycephalosaurus, Oranosaurus, and unfortunately, I can't really make out what the last species name is, but I'll blow it up in the video for all of you to make your own educated guesses. Now, obviously, a lot of work went into designing these dinosaurs for Camp Cretaceous, and while they don't appear in Season 1, I still personally think all of them would have offered up a very unique and interesting piece of their own Jurassic World lore that we all could have talked about in canon. Whether or not any of these shows up in Season 2, I have absolutely no idea. However, if I had to make a guess, I'd say that they won't be seen anytime soon. While Dr. Wu did indeed have more hybrids that he was working on, as seen on screen in the 2015 film, I'm not so sure Camp Cretaceous will ever explore these animals in the actual series on Netflix. Still, I do find it interesting that they were being considered back then for the TV show, and I honestly think they'd have been welcomed more or less in a similar way to how Jurassic World the game and Jurassic World Alive have managed to create their own hybrid dinosaurs for those mobile games. Anyways, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about these early hybrid dinosaur designs that were being considered for Camp Cretaceous? And what do you think about the Cryolophosaur and Allo getting axed in favor of other species like Carnotaurus? In my opinion, artwork in early versions of Jurassic material is always cool to go over, and a lot of the stuff is designed really cool and happens to be something that I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen in the show. But hey, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. Now before I go, I'd like to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives. I'd also like to thank all of my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Guys, it seriously means the world to me that all of you continue to support what I do, and I never want you to ever forget that. Now, I'd like to thank all of you for watching today's video and hope that you all enjoyed the content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.